I made a couple decisions this morning, which ended up using a bunch of my calories that were not planned. So, right now the target for the calories is 16 to 1800, and I'm already at 1200. It's been a stressful day, lots of stuff going on with work and the properties and whatnot in the stores. And so this is a situation where, you know what? Maybe it would feel good to just grab some McDonald's. And I could do that, but where the numbers are right now is I know that I have 50 grams of protein so far. I need to get 130 grams more to hit the target. Um, that means that if I use, even a little bit of these calories on fat, then it's gonna be tough for me to stay in that calorie range while hitting the protein. So now, the reason I bring this up is because what we do, I've done it myself. We all go through this. Is you make a plan to lose fat, and maybe you're doing a good job and you're hitting your everything, and then something happens, and then it's early in the day and you make some bad decisions, and then what happens, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna start tomorrow, and you don't even actually enjoy the thing that you're gonna eat, and so you just kind of compound these negative emotions, and that's where that spiral begins to happen, right? So now you're like, okay, we gotta wait again till tomorrow, and I'm gonna try again tomorrow, but you're in a shitty mood, and so it's hard to do stuff if you're in a shitty mood. So what do you do? Okay, so what I would recommend, number one, like, you want to bring these conversations that are happening in your head, you want to bring them out into the light. You want to actually observe them, make them tangible. Okay. And like, bring some, like, action around them. Okay. So for example, that might be, talking, being around other people who are, trying to do the same thing, or have, who are doing that thing, or they're already lean. So that might mean you go work out, right, with a group of people, like at a CrossFit gym or whatever type of gym. That might mean, you know having a community where you can talk about these kinds of things, right? Like in our coaching group, the Burrito Mafia, like, we bring these things up all the time, and the reason why is, once it's out and it's real, right, and you can actually, it becomes tangible. Now it becomes, the probability of you making a better decision starts to go up. Okay. So this is actually what I'm doing with this conversation here, or recording this video. I know, okay, I can, if I left this conversation going in the back of my head, inside my head, I would have, there was a good chance that I would have stopped at McDonald's, probably got a spicy McChicken, no mayo, whatever, maybe some fries, and then I would have put myself in a even deeper hole, or a more difficult position later on, because I know I'm going to go over the calories, and so then that's when those negative feelings start to spiral out of control. So, I want to urge you, like, these are the moments that we never shine a light on, or we never observe them, and then that's why, a day turns into a week, and a week turns into months, and then you're just still doing that same, I'll start tomorrow, I'm going to start again tomorrow. And that can be very, defeating. It can be very discouraging. And I cannot put the value of encouragement, or I can't put enough value on encouragement. I myself, I need a lot of encouragement. I make better decisions, encourage myself when I'm in encouraging environments, talking to encouraging people. So that's something that I think we don't really pay attention to as much. Like, yeah, you got a plan, and maybe you got a great plan, but it's these moments that make or break, fat loss, or anything for that matter, right? So like, I've done the same thing. Like, as an actor, I've been acting since 2009 or 2010, and the last three, and I've worked very consistently the entire time up until 2022. So I had a stretch of 3 years where it has been, I didn't book anything for 3 years. That is by far the longest stretch of time where I didn't do some type of commercial or print job or whatever. And so that became extremely discouraging, and it took me a little while to be like, why don't I apply the same thing to acting? And so, one of my buddies, he's an actor in LA, and this is the reason I reached out to him. Same thing. I was like, and he works a lot. Like, he's constantly working. I've known him for a long time, and he just recently started to coach people. And I immediately messaged him. I was like, dude, I need to work with you on my auditions, because it's very discouraging. It's been, and that shows up. There were a lot of auditions that I just turned down because I didn't feel good about it, or I was so discouraged about the whole thing. And so the moment, and I want to give this example, because it's applicable to everything, especially, and including losing fat and whatnot. The first audition we worked on, immediately booked. We've worked on, so in this last month, we worked on probably 10 auditions, maybe 12, and 2 of them were booked. Another one was put on check avail, meaning you're like down to either the last guy or the last 2 guys. And all of the other auditions, even the ones that weren't booked, those, like, I haven't had this much fun in a long time in acting, okay? And like, the stuff that I was doing where I was skipping auditions, like I wasn't even sending them in, or I just felt real shitty about, like, let me just do this and then be done with it. Like, that's not happening anymore. Like, I am enjoying those auditions so much more, and that comes through in the audition. That comes through on the tape, on the self-tape. A self-tape is when you record yourself in the audition and then send it to the casting agency. And like, I'm just having so much more fun. Like, I'm spending more time on each audition than I ever would in the past, like, or in the last 3 years, where I was just like trying to get it done and then like send it in and be done with it. Now, like, I'm spending significant time on each audition. And so why is this? Because he's an encouraging person to talk to about this. He can give me feedback and notes that can improve each audition, right? And we can close that gap like this, versus if I was by myself, still being discouraged and annoyed or pissed off or frustrated, haven't booked anything in 3 years. I to be honest, I was ready to give up. I was like, man, fuck all this. Like, I don't even like this. But it wasn't that. It wasn't that. So with fat loss, it's the same thing. We gotta make these things real. We gotta make them tangible, and then we can get ourselves around encouraging environments, encouraging people. And you'll notice, like, it begins to change quickly, especially if if you're in like a very, not all communities are great, but like, if you have a good positive community and where there's coaching back, and you could talk to people about your stuff, you can see that you can make change very quickly, right? And then in those moments, like right now, today, where I was like, damn, I ate, too many calories this morning and now I don't have that many left, where in my head by myself I probably would have got more calorie dense food. That didn't happen because I chose to, like, I was like, okay, let me think about this. Like, am I really gonna enjoy this, like, calorie dense food right now? Is it really gonna be enjoyable? Because then the feeling of knowing that I went off of the plan and now I'm putting myself, like, I didn't do what I said I was gonna do, that's gonna be super discouraging. And so I made this video to not only just share this idea, but it also serves that function for me where, like, now I actually don't have any desire to go grab a bunch of, you know, calorie dense foods. Now, like, I'm almost home and I didn't even think about that, right? And so I just want to emphasize these things. Like, it's not about the information anymore. Everybody has heard the right information, you know. And there's a thousand ways to lose fat and get in shape, you know. But what gets in the way now, okay, I mean, it always got in the way, but before there was limited information. But now that part is done. There's no more limited information. You have all the right information. You will have come across it, right? Of course, there's specific things that, you know, you don't know everything, but the basics, you know. And so the tactical stuff, your day-to-day stuff, yeah, you'll learn that if you know, if you get a coach, or you read a book, or you listen to a video or something. But it's no longer the information. Now it's, how do I get myself to do the stuff? How do I get myself to do the stuff for the next 3 months to 6 months? 6 months, unless you have like 100 pounds to lose, you could get leaner than you've ever gotten before. And I will tell you, the thing that will stop you is all those discouraging moments, is all those stressful or frustrating moments where then you don't feel like doing the stuff. Like, if we actually think about this, I want to like break this apart a little bit. What would actually prevent me from going home and making my food, which, by the way, tastes amazing, all right? Like, I'm gonna probably have burritos or tacos. It's gonna taste amazing. What is actually in the way? Emotion. There's nothing stopping me from home, right? And eating. So what do I get from stopping by at, you know, McDonald's or wherever and eating, you know, 600-700 calories that I don't have right now? Well, those types of things give us a little dopamine hit. We get a little relief. We get a little you know, temporary mouth pleasure from eating them, but then that's it. And then the moment that it's done and you've eaten it, now what are you left with? Because now that wears off, you're left with the negative emotions and more negative thoughts about, I fucked up again, I'm gonna have to start over again, I'll try this tomorrow, man, I'm a piece of shit, what the fuck, blah blah blah. And that's what's left. And then you might get home and you're like, you know what, I already blew the calories out today, fuck it, why not just go ahead and eat some more crap? Why not have a beer? Why not have a few beers, have a couple drinks? Because I'm already over my calories today anyway, so this is not gonna, you know, like, today's already ruined, right? So that's so real, because this is all happening inside our heads. So anyways, hopefully that's helpful. If you got questions, let me know. If you want to be part of the Burrito Mafia, find me on Instagram, message me, leave a comment, I'll send you a link. If you want one on coaching, let me know. Um, please get yourself into encouraging environments, because that will help you make decisions that close the gap for you, and allow you to take the actions daily to continue to get leaner and leaner.